Welcome to our Getting Started with Adopt Ontario video. Here, we hope to walk you through the processes that will get you familiar and hopefully more comfortable with our program. So follow me as we get started. Now, getting started with Adopt Ontario may be a bit overwhelming. You probably have a ton of questions and are wondering how or where to get them answered, so don't worry because we're here to help with all of that. So let's start with the big question. What even is Adopt Ontario? Well, the formal answer would be that it's a program that exists to support family finding and child and youth specific recruitment initiatives for children and youth in extended society care who have adoption as their permanency plan. In other words, Adopt Ontario acts as sort of the middle figure between prospective parents in Ontario like yourselves and Ontario CAS workers and private practitioners who are looking for suitable families. Now, let's talk about the two sections of our website. One is the public site, the one you've probably seen. The other is our professional site, also known as our data bank, which only professionals can see. So let's start with the public site. Now you can access it by clicking here when on the Adoption Council of Ontario website, or you can also simply type this into your search browser as shown here. Okay, so here's the public site. This is where you can register for events, access Kids Corner, check out our waiting child youth listing, as well as look through tons of other helpful resources. Now, you can sign up and make an account by simply scrolling down from the homepage and clicking here where it says sign up. It then will prompt you to fill out a bit more information. Okay, now let's take a look at the professional site, also known as the Adoption Resource Data Bank. Now, the Adoption Resource Data Bank is the part of the website that only professional workers can see. Once you have registered for the data bank, our matching system helps us find similarities between yourselves and children and youth who are also on that data bank. Let's explain that further though. You, as a prospective adoptive parent, would have a profile indicating your lifestyle and openness to certain needs. Children and youth with adoption as their permanency plan who are also on the data bank have similar profiles that help us see similarities and explore potential matches. But remember, only adoption professionals have access to the data bank, so no need to worry about your information being seen by the public. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I even apply for this data bank? Well, there's a few ways. Once you have completed your Safe Home Study and Pride training, you will be considered Adopt Ready and will then be eligible to apply for the data bank. Now, if you already have an account on the public site, one option is you can log in to your Adopt Ontario account and select Change My Profile/email. You'll then click through the pages as shown here till you have this option that says I'd like to apply for the data bank. An email will then be sent to you with instructions on what to do next. This will also generate a case ID number for you. Okay, so another way you can apply for the data bank is by filling out the form on the public site and emailing it to us. So here's how to do that. First, you'll click Adoption Resource Data Bank, which is found under the Connecting with Families tab. Scroll down and click this form, which will download the registration form instantly. So here the registration form will appear and you can begin filling out the information. Now, once it is completed, you can email it to info@adoptontario.ca. Now, you can also reach out to this email for any other questions you may have about the form. Okay, so now that we have covered how to get registered on the data bank, let's take a look at our recruitment strategies. So here you can see the 5 main methods Adopt Ontario uses. Let's start with the waiting child and youth listing. Now, this can be found under the Understanding Children and Youth tab on the website. Here, you'll see a list of children and youth pseudonyms and their profiles, and you can click through each of them to read more. Now, the children and youth shown on the waiting listing are those who have consented to be. That means that the children and youth shown here are not all the children and youth who are working with Adopt Ontario, but rather are those who have agreed to this specific recruitment strategy. So let's continue to go through the other strategies. Next, let's take a look at Kids Corner. So this can be found on the homepage once you scroll down a bit, or you can also access it under the Understanding Children and Youth tab on the site. Now, this is a much more concealed version of a waiting child youth listing. The children and youth have an icon that represents them and a much more concise profile. This is because it's open to the public, as you don't need an account to view the Kids Corner profiles. Alright, next we'll look at our Resource Family Search method. So perhaps we are currently seeking a family for a child or youth with specific requirements. What we can do is search through our list of families who meet those requirements, whether it be culture, region, openness, or maybe skill set. We'll then send a profile of the child or youth we have in mind to these families via email. The profile will look something like this. Now, you don't need to respond to this, but if you are interested in finding out more about the child or youth, you can go ahead and reach out to us and we can set up a time to call to go over some more information. Now, it's also important to ensure your public account information is up to date and accurate so we can effectively send out the emails to the right bunch of people. Okay, next we have our online adoption events. Now you can find information about our events under the Recruitment Events tab shown here. So if you scroll down, you will find this option that will take you to a calendar displaying any upcoming events for the year. An online adoption event usually uses a video conferencing platform such as Zoom, where attendees can watch a live presentation put on by Adopt Ontario. These events can be tailored to the children and youth being presented, whether it is an event about siblings, unique needs, or maybe a specific cultural background. The child or youth's worker will share information and pictures to help you get to know the child or youth a bit better. We also typically have a panelist at our events who usually is an experienced adoptive parent or someone with expertise on the topics that we're covering in that event. These events also have a live Q&A, which allows you to type in a question and have it answered live by either a clinical coordinator, the child's adoption worker, or even the panelist. Okay, last we have our ARE, which stands for Adoption Resource Event. Now you can also find information about AREs under the Recruitment Events tab. So AREs are virtual or in-person events hosted by the Adoption Council of Ontario, where adoption professionals from children aid societies share their written profiles, videos, and photos of children and youth currently waiting for permanency through adoption. The events occur regionally, provincially, and as part of child or youth targeted events. So at the ARE events, you have the opportunity to chat with adoption workers, check out videos, photos, and profiles presented of the children and youth, attend tons of insightful panel discussions, and of course, grow your understanding of the concepts surrounding adoption. Now, there are both provincial and regional AREs. The provincial AREs typically take place once or twice a year. Regional AREs can be held a couple times throughout the year at the request of agencies. Now, we also use other recruitment strategies, such as reaching out to private practitioners to see if they are working with a family who may be suitable for a child or youth we are recruiting for. And then, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, we also will use our matching system on the databank to help explore connections. Okay, so now that we've gone over the recruitment methods we use, it's time to express interest. So let's say you've heard about a child or youth through one of these methods and you think you could be a potential match and would like further information. Here are the steps you'll take. First, you can contact our information email, then set up a call with a clinical coordinator, then fill out the EOI form and submit. Let's go through that again though. First, you'll contact our information email indicating which child or youth you'd like to express interest in. Now, it's helpful if you include the child's pseudonym and case ID. You'll then be contacted by a clinical coordinator who will set up a time for you to have a quick call to discuss more details. Now, these calls typically take around 30 to 45 minutes. Then, at the end of the call, if you decide you would still like to express interest in the child or youth, you can go ahead and fill out the EOI form. Now, if the child or youth you are expressing interest in has a profile on the waiting listing, you can find the EOI form at the bottom of their profile. You then can begin filling in your information. Now make sure you are as thorough as possible when filling out this form. So if the child or youth you are expressing interest in does not have a profile on the public site, you can access the expression of interest form by clicking here under the Connecting with Families tab. Once it is completed, you can go ahead and click Submit. Don't forget that the Adopt Ontario website has tons of resources for you to check out and help grow your understanding of the concepts surrounding adoption. Check out the Learning About Therapeutic Parenting section, where you can select the categories you'd like to read more about. You can also venture back over to the main Adoption Council of Ontario website page, which you can access by either clicking here in the corner of the Adopt Ontario site, or you can also simply type this into your search browser. So here you'll find tons of educational resources to help expand your knowledge and create connections. Check out the Training and Education tab found here. So as you can see, you can explore tons of insightful webinars to help prepare and educate you on permanency. You'll also be able to check out our different programs and courses where you can expand your learning and create meaningful connections. And really, you can just use this as a tool to gain more information overall. And if you find you still have some questions along the way, send us an email at info@adoptontario.ca and we'd be more than happy to help. Thank you so much for learning about Adopt Ontario today, and we would love to be a part of your journey.